What is going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe. So here we are talking about the Vasto Prime Incarnon. Jesus Christ, this thing. I'm gonna say this is probably the most preferential weapon thus far in the Incarnon weapons, because for some people this thing is going to be really fucking good, and other people, kind of like myself, are going to fucking hate this damn thing. Now, it's not to say that this isn't buffing the shit out of the Vasto doing what it does. And I can understand why people told me, you know, oh man, this gun's a murderer, this gun's a nuker. Can be. So we're just going to cover the evolutions. So evolution 2, you know, increased damage by 24, and then if you basically do a weapon swap from primary, you get an increased critical chance by 30% and an increased critical multiplier by 0.8 times for 3 seconds. Now that's pretty typical with kind of weapon swap gameplay, because weapon swapping in its basic sense is basically like prime damage, kill, prime damage, kill. That's kind of the whole point behind. I'm sorry, I have some like a nose hair or something. It's bugging the shit out of me. It's basically, that's kind of the entire point behind weapon swapping, is like basically you're trying to just quickly move between weapons to stay within the status duration of what you're doing. So basically you go in with like a high stat weapon, prime an enemy with that status damage, and then use a really OP killer weapon to finish the job up. That's kind of the entirety behind weapon swapping. This just basically gives you that enhancement of just going like mega crit from the get-go. And the beauty about this is that this actually does function on both sides of the gun. Now normally your evolution 2 is only on the front side of the gun. This functions on both, so there's that. This thing also has a fuck ton of recoil. Personally, I went with recoil. If you're also a bullshit headshotter like myself, there's also, I think, a +6 to ammo capacity, so mag size, so you could have a 12-round mag instead of a 6-round mag, which honestly is, it's really, this is kind of a 50-50 shot here, because you can do basically the same thing with the recoil with mods or a mod, and then just take the more mag capacity. This kind of, you do you on that one. And then honestly, I tested out what I thought was going to make this better, because there is a increased critical chance by +18, and then I think the other one is increased critical chance and increased status chance by +9, or with a precision headshot you get 100% chance for ammo efficiency for 2 or 4 seconds or some shit. Now I was hoping that that ammo efficiency function actually applied. I think it's a mustache hair, I'm sorry. Oh, it was, yeah, damn it. Anyway, so I was hoping that that would apply to the Incarnon form, and sadly it does not. Funny enough, this is like the most backwards thing ever. Evolution 2 applies to both sides of the gun. Evolution 4 only seems to apply to the primary side, like the up front side of the gun. So you get stuck with this really retarded ammo pool. So we're going to look at the build, and I've only got one form in this. Now I will say, I think, and please understand that what you see here is the 120 crit chance. Okay, you know, but on the weapon swap, the green numbers are what it's showing on the what it's going to give you when you do that weapon swap. It's not just giving you the base, it's showing you the weapon swap statistics. So just take that into account. It's not terrible numbers. It absolutely is a dramatic improvement for what this weapon used to do. Now, is there a lot of different ways that you can do this? Absolutely there are. I mean, something that would honestly probably be beneficial for this gun, let me find her. Seeker. Unsure. Because this is a shotgun, a critical based shotgun pistol, I think Seeker would probably be a very, very beneficial mod. It's a very large capacity size mod, and you obviously see, like, the most I've ever ranked it up was to rank 12 on the power drain, just because I tested it out and I didn't like it. So like for my purposes, I just went more for base damage, added a little bit, you know, more for it, and like I said, it's one forma. The reason being is because I don't like it. Okay, So what I did is I just went with a straight up heat viral. You know, basically go for the health, double down, weaken some, you know, weaken some armor with some slash damage, kind of do the whole shebang. Now, herein lies the quandary behind this weapon, okay? Any other weapon that you see says that it has a max charge and that's your ammo pool. And that is not incorrect about this weapon. What makes this weapon very aggravating is that that ammo pool is actually divisible by 4 shots. Okay, so you have a max charge of 24, but it fires 6 fucking rounds at a time. Means you actually only get to fire the weapon 4 fucking times. The positive is that it actually, as long as you're hitting some fairly tanky enemies and you got some pretty good aim, it does charge up pretty quick. So those 4 shots, I mean, I'm trying to be objective here, okay? I really am. Like, and the thing of it is like, you don't need creeping bullseye. You really don't. Because of the weapon swap capability buff, you can do pistol gambit for 120 instead of 200. It's absolutely doable. I mean, like, talking 154 and 171.6 on the critical chance, so that is an absolutely doable thing if you find that the fire rate is not the way that you want it. Personally, I want the most crit that I could possibly get out of a weapon, so hence why I do creeping bullseye. Personally, I find that galvanized diffusion, prime target cracker, lethal torrent are just staples to most pistols. I mean, I'm sorry, multi-shot fire rate, which honestly helps just counteract that anyway. Critical damage in itself plus stackable multi-shot, again, is in there. Now, where this thing is really going to shine is if you're willing to do the form investment and this thing fits your play style the way that you hope, is to go base damage. To really kind of hit home with the way the criticals are going to hit on the weapon swapping. Because I'm not gonna lie, this thing absolutely does fucking kill. No question about it. I just don't find that having 4 fucking total shots of a burst of your entire magazine, basically, because that's what it is. It's basically the revolving chamber of the revolver itself. All shit. Wow. Freudian slip there, apparently. All 6 shots from the revolver basically just blast out at once and hit enemies. Now, if you can spray in a group of enemies, it does actually work. The reason why I think like something like Seeker would actually work better on this is because it's got such a hardcore critical chance anyway. Punch through, basically hit a motherfucker behind a motherfucker kind of setup. You get a much better chance at actually doing, like, killing more enemies with the few shots that you have. And also, because of the amount of shit that you have to do, stacks fall off on Merciless quite, like, pretty quickly compared to Deadhead. Like, Deadhead is, you know, 24 seconds per charge and it's only 3 charges. Okay, to where Merciless is 12 charges and they only last for 4 seconds. Well, when your weapon swap is 3 seconds, you're basically potentially losing a stack to have to gain it back, to where you've got much more time with Deadhead, and the whole goal behind this son of a bitch is to hit as many people in the head as you can. So, like, I mean, this thing is a punishing weapon for certain playstyles. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of this weapon. Now, I just randomly threw the Trump on here because I'm not going to use it. I'm not even going to take this thing to the Acolyte because I think this thing's kind of dumb. Okay. Sorry, I was doing Steel Path and Incursions. Just trying to clear the brain for a minute before I shot this video. Yeah, I'm not going to take this thing to the Acolyte because I don't feel like I need to, because I'm going to sit there and shoot the fucking Acolyte on weapon swapping and everything else and hope to kill the bastard, which I have done. But because of how much of a sloppy shooter I am, I'm not going to lie, it's usually like I hit the Acolyte, I might hit, more like might hit the Acolyte. And then end up having to recharge the gun to kill the Acolyte. So, kind of a rough day. Hey guys, how you doing? Bonk. Bonk. See, even with my trash ass aim, okay. Now here's the thing: swap weapons. Like, this thing absolutely fucking kills. And this is like where the ammo pool really comes into play, is if you got bullshit aim like me. So, up and swap, dead. I've just gotten to the point, wow, that was poor shit, I shot him in the foot. You hit him in the fucking head, they really don't like you for it. This is such a tedious playstyle with the ammo pool. If it was just the weapon swapping, I would have no problem with this weapon whatsoever. But the fact that you literally get 4 goddamn charges is really stupid. Like, it's powerful. It's very fucking powerful, okay? It's like, I mean, obviously, red crits, for Christ's sake, with 3 60/60s on there. You know, granted, the damage is lower because of the 60/60s, because that base damage is just not as high as you want it on a almost solely crit-based weapon. But personally, I think where this poor son of a bitch falls the fuck on its face is a really unfortunate truth of the ammo pool is atrociously terrible. You know, like, I've seen people talking about the Atomos being a bad weapon. I've seen people talking about the Latron being a bad weapon, the Strun being a bad weapon, which is kind of mind-boggling because, like, you know, these are all like AoE style explosive, you know, what most people would consider to be the meta of the weapon. And some of it is like, I've heard some people say like the Atomos is no good against anything with armor, which I kind of tend to disagree about that one, but it's whatever. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm sure shit not going to knock them for it. You know, everybody's got their own play styles, right? And I think that's where this weapon really falls in. Is like, if you're willing to do the forma investment on this weapon to really give it the base damage that it wants and probably punch through. Truth be told, probably punch through. I think this thing stands a chance at being good for certain people with their playstyles. But I personally think that the ammo pool on this thing should be increased by at least ×4. Okay? If not ×5, honestly. Like, something near 100 divisible by 6. Okay? Like, let's just be honest here, okay? Like, I personally think like 120 rounds. That's personally what I think, okay? Because that's basically, what, 120, 60 is 10 shots, it's 20 shots. 120 max charges, firing 6 shots, so 6 charges each time you pull the trigger. It's 20 shots. That would equalize out to what the Atomos is doing, what, you know, the Latron is doing. Well, I think the Latron might be 40, but, like, you know, what some of these other weapons are doing, you know, the Lex, things like that. And I think this thing would be much more playable for somebody like myself. I think that I would go very high investment on this weapon if it actually had that level of max charges. Because, like, when I see max charges, I saw 24 and I was like, fucking A, dude, 24, that's solid. I mean, the Atomos only has like 20, you know, the Lex has like 20, so I'm like, fuck, bring it, you know, 24, I'm good with that. And then I pulled the trigger 4 fucking times and I'm like, whoa, where'd my Incarnon charge go? And it's like, no. So for a player like myself, I find that the ammo pool of the Incarnon side is absolute garbage. Now, the function of the weapon aside from that is fucking phenomenal. Okay, not even going to take away from that. The primary side of the weapon is dramatically increased just from the Incarnon side. The Incarnon mode in itself, as far as the damage output that it does, even with just 60/60s on this son of a bitch, it's very good. I just personally find that the ammo pool is absolute dog shit. And the fact that Evolution 4 has the ammo efficiency function, but it only applies to the front end of the gun. It doesn't apply to the Incarnon side of the gun, which is weird that it's Evolution 4. Like, I think honestly Evolution 2 and 4 should be swapped if that's the case, because Evolution 2 on basically everything has been, you know, upfront damage on the primary side of the weapon. And then Evolution 3 has been more utility function, and then Evolution 4 has been more Incarnon function that bleeds into the primary function of the weapon, not vice versa. And in this case, it's not even vice versa. It's like Evolution 4 is like, here, we're going to make the front side of the gun have great ammo economy so you can get more headshots, but we're also going to cost you that extra crit that could do even more, because when you weapon swap, you'll actually get almost double what you'll get anyway. No. I'm telling you, I would put a fat, gigantic fucking stamp of approval on this weapon if it had like a 120 max charge, because that equates out to 20 shots. I think that would be phenomenal. I think it would be great. I would probably use the shit out of this weapon. At the present state that it's at, I'm gonna say fuck that. Like, no motherfucking way. I probably won't even use this thing, as I don't use the Akimbo Vasto for the same fucking problem, because, well, not for the same problem, they're just not very good. But the base Vasto was not very good. Now, at least the primary side of the gun is good. Reload speed is 1 second, which is actually completely fine. And with primary deadhead on there, using the front side of the gun, this thing is very powerful. Excuse me, it's very powerful. So, I mean, if you want the front side of the gun, you know, the primary side, the normal side of the Vasto Prime to just be better, then yeah, get the Incarnon adapter and build it. But if you're banking on the Incarnon form to carry you through missions, holy Jesus Christ, are you in for a fucking grind of a slog of play? Because it's basically build up the charge, fire off the charge just as quickly as you built it, and then rinse and repeat. And that is the playstyle of this gun. So, I don't know. I mean, like, I want to hate it, but I really wanted to love it. And I do see what it's capable of doing. It's just not my playstyle. So, like, if you want to use it for, like, some kind of interesting, you know, burst of prime damage using crit, it's possible. Especially with the way the charges work, it's definitely possible you hit them and just start ticking them away with slash damage, and then open up with some other primary that you choose, or a melee. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't enjoy this weapon whatsoever. And it's sad because I really want to. I really, man, I was jonesing for the Soma, the Vasto. I mean, hell, give me a second here. There was a few weapons in this list of Incarnon Genesis weapons that I was actually quite excited for. You know, the Bratton, the Lotto. I still have yet to get the Paris of the Kunai. I'm probably going to do both of those. I'm not going to do the Skana. I don't care. It's just a regular sword, and honestly, I don't care. Now, there's another one I do care about. The bow. I have talked to 4 different people that have the bow. They've basically shown me their gameplay of just how rough it is for that thing, so I don't even care. As well as the Furax. Don't care about that one either. Don't care about the Magistar, so I'm not doing that. The Ceramic Dagger came out amazing. Love that. The Dual Iker is actually one I am going to go after. Obviously, you know, got the Akin Brunt, so there's that. The Nami Solo I will be going after, because Big Papa Joe picked up the Nami Solo, and we were, excuse me, kind of brainstorming that weapon, and it turned into something quite interesting. So yeah, I'm going to be getting my hands on that thing. But aside from that, then, you know, I have absolutely no want or desire to get anywhere near the Siberia, because, I mean, like, it's like, again, much like the other weapons that I've seen the builds, sat there in chats and talked with people, you know, in their discords, and yeah, the Siberia is like a really crappy version of what the Hate does. So it's like, here, cold procs and then big heavy fucking mace style play instead of a Reaper, you know, or a Scythe. I mean, a Reaper. I was thinking Reaper Prime, sorry. So, I mean, for the most part, I don't have very many weapons out of this round of the Incarnon Genesis that I'm really digging into as wanting. But I do want the Gorgon, the Boar, the Gamma Core, and possibly the Angstrom. Like, possibly the Angstrom. Because, like, the Boar, I want the Boar to be improved. Because, my God, is it just a rough ordeal with the Boar. The Boar is a painful son of a bitch to deal with. The Gorgon, honestly, I own the Prisma Gorgon, and I have a Riven for the Gorgon, and I refuse to roll the Riven because I got the Riven right after the dev stream talking about how there was going to be a Gorgon Incarnon Genesis. So I just refused to touch that Riven up until the point that we see what that thing does. The Gamma Core I'm just very interested in because it's going to be the second of the beam weapons as far as the primary side of the gun, but it's not a chaining beam weapon. So I'm really curious as to what the Gamma Core is going to do. Is it going to be some kind of AoE burst, or is it going to be something more like the Torrid? We have no idea, and it seems interesting. The Angstrom, unless it's like the Torrid, where you can do body shots, that thing is going to be a pain in the fucking dick. So yeah, there's that. So just so you know, I mean, sorry to be off topic on that, but just to talk about the things coming up as far as the next Incarnon weapons that I'm interested in, because unfortunately the Vasto Prime Incarnon Genesis is absolutely not something I'm interested in. There's going to be players out there that are going to look at this thing and go, fuck yeah. And I get it. I really do get it, man. I see what it does. I see how it can mop fucking enemies down. But its ammo pool, it makes this thing such a fucking struggle and makes you just want to just question why in the fuck they ever stuck it in this rotation of weapons at all. If it was going to be that limited on ammunition for its Incarnon side, why? What is the point? It's just my opinion. Again, if you love the Vasto Prime or the Vasto Prime Incarnon, you know, more power to you, man. It must fit your playstyle better than mine, and that's what gaming is all about, in my opinion. What you make fit your playstyle is, I personally think, how we all make gaming work for ourselves, you know? So, I mean, if you love this thing, man, I'm glad for you. I really am. I fucking hate it, personally, so it's just my thoughts. So, so folks, on that note, I want to thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one, okay?